What's up, everybody? Gonna give y'all some time to come on in. Got some good intel for y'all today. Y'all come on in, come on in. Y'all come on in, come on in. All right, let us begin. Let us begin. What's up, Hellenice? I'm messing your name up bad. Hellenice Gates. Got a few more seconds here. Then we're gonna go in on this. So I can finally tell y'all what this book really about. I done studied it now. I done went through all the books now. Gonna give y'all the whole science now. Stephanie Yvette, why is it only blacks that try and discredit the scriptures? Well, shit, let's be real here. For years, they've used the scriptures as a weapon against us. That's why. And shit, they only understood, and they only understood it on a master to slave level. They didn't understand it on a metaphysical level. So they don't even teach the metaphysics in the church. So, you know how that is. Give y'all a few more seconds, and we'll get started. Stephanie Yvette, how was Stephanie? All right, let's begin. Everybody else come in when they come in. Now, this little book here, which y'all know is commonly known as the Bible, is actually known as Helios Biblios, the Book of the Sun. And the reason why it's called Helios Biblios, the Book of the Sun, is because originally this was solar text that was written in Egypt and in ancient America and various other places. And the Moors who wrote this book at the time took different pieces and put it together and put it all into this book. See what I'm saying? Stephanie Yvette, how did they use it against us? They used it against us because if they're not teaching the metaphysical aspect of the book, then they're using it as a weapon against you by default. So that's why that's how they're using it against you. And metaphysics is actually the internal sciences of your inner self. That's how. But yes, back to what I was saying. Helios Biblios, the Book of the Sun, was originally solar texts. They were texts of astronomy, astrology, supreme mathematics, prophecy, and various other things as well. The chakras, chi, all that. And I'm gonna go over some things to let y'all know what y'all need to actually decode this book in its entirety. And it's 65 books, mainly in the original Bible. And the Book of Revelation is the book that the Book of Revelation is the book that I want to take some time out to read, because I know that's the most complicated book. If I don't get to it today, I'll definitely come back tomorrow and decode that. But for the other 65 Bibles we got there, I understand what's going on with those 65, with most of it. So I'm going to decide throughout this lecture on whether I'm going to decode the Book of Revelation by itself or decode it in this lecture here. So let's go. Now, why was this book written in the first place? Well, originally it was written to deceive us, but when they wrote the book was so good. When they wrote the book in the First Council of Nicaea, the book was so good, it actually was enlightening people, because the Bible been around for actually about a couple thousand years. So it's been all over the planet for some time now. I say about, it was created in 325 AD. We're looking at a little less than 1700 years. Yeah, a little less than 1700 years. So at the Council of Nicaea, they put this book together to dumb down the masses. But the masses actually understood the book and used it to elevate themselves. So the Second Council of Nicaea was created to transform the Bible, or the Helios Biblios, from a all-out book of science, metaphysical sciences, to a codex, which is pretty much still a book of science, but it's encrypted. They encrypted it, and they spent the next several centuries. They spent the next several centuries pretty much making it more of a decode. That's what all the rehashes and taking all the books out the Bible and all that was all about, and changing words and stuff like that. So yeah. So let's begin here. Now, with the first book, start off with Genesis, or Gene Isis, or the genetic lineages of Isis, the mother goddess. And starting from the first chapter on down, you get the seven, how God created the universe, not just the earth. Then it went down to the 7 days of creation, which represents the 7 chakras. Each chakra represents a day of creation and how it was created, all the way up to the crown chakra. That's why on the 7th day he rested. Now, after that, you get the story of the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden is pretty much the storyline of the feminine and the masculine. Now, Adam, which is actually the pineal gland, and Lilith, in a Gnostic Bible, it was originally Lilith, which was the pituitary gland. But in this storyline here, this is what you start to see, the fall of the feminine energy. Adam was trying to force Lilith to do things she didn't want to do. So she left. And so she didn't want to come back to the Garden of Eden, which was the heart chakra. So they created Eve, which was only a semi-awakened pituitary gland. Cause the pituitary gland is the mother and the pineal gland is the father. Now, after this, then you get into the lineages, you get into Noah and his ark, or the Noah's ark, which is the ark of Noah, that the halo that's above your head, the crown chakra. You get into Cain and Abel, which is familial conflicts that represent the energy of families fighting with each other. You see that all through history. You get into Joseph. Joseph represents the he brought peace to the world. He represents the energy of peace and balance. He brought balance to Egypt. Now, and so on and so forth. Then you get Jacob. Jacob represents Jacob's ladder, which is the chakra system. So you know it's all science. His name became Israel. Israel is the 12 zodiacs. You see what I'm saying? So anytime you see 7 of something, that's the chakras. Most time you see 12 of something, you talking about the zodiac. So when you talking about the number game, that's all numerology, astrology, astronomy, all that, you know. So with that being said, Jacob's name gets changed to Israel, whatever. Oh yeah, you got Abraham and Sarah as well. Abraham is short for abracadabra, so his name means magic. And Sarah is Sa. If you split a name up, it's Sa and Ra. Sa means heart in ancient Egyptian language, and Ra, of course, means the sun. So it's the heart of the sun, or the heart of the soul. That's what her name means. So that's what this represents. That's why God gave the covenant to Abraham and Sarah and not his other wives. You see what I'm saying? So this is what it's about. Now, you got then you go on into Exodus. You know, Exodus is where it gets a little bit more interesting. You get introduced to the character Moses. Moses is what you would like to say the hero of his time. You see what I'm saying? And since he was the hero of his time, he went to this Pharaoh, who I find interesting in Exodus when him and Aaron went to the Pharaoh, because Aaron was just his voice, his word. He just represented the words, the divine utterances of Moses, because he couldn't speak, or he had a bad speech impediment or whatever. So with that being said, he went to go see the Pharaoh. Now, who does the Pharaoh in Egypt represent? They represent our ancient ancestors. That's who they represent. And I noticed in the storyline, every time that they would go see the Pharaoh, it states in Exodus that the Lord will harden his heart. Now, what does it mean by the Lord will harden his heart? Hardening his heart means his heart chakra was fucked up. He was in his ego. He was egotistical. You see what I'm saying? So since his heart chakra was all fucked up, then he didn't see reason, because the Israel at this point represent us coming us now. You see what I'm saying? Represents us in this day and age. Y'all think this happened millions of years ago, but there is no time, there's no past, present, and future in the force. It's all one big series of events. You see what I'm saying? So the ancient Egyptians then represented our ancient ancestors who had the power, but their heart chakras was fucked up. They was in their ego. You see what I'm saying? They was real egotistical and real fucked up. We are sweeter than they were back then, believe it or not. And that's a testament to how fucked up they were compared to us now. So we actually are way better off. Now, why was it so hard for the Pharaoh to let the Israelites leave? Well, if you know anything about our ancient ancestors, especially the Moors, when they received the prophecy of this poor black people that will awaken later on down the timeline, they did not want to deal with it. They was like, nah, fuck that. We think these niggas should suffer forever. They wanted us to suffer forever. So they didn't. When they heard that prophecy, when the prophecy came down around 300 AD, which is the whole reason why they created the Bible in the first place, they received this prophecy of this poor black people who in the future will rise up again and become gods after this. And once they received that prophecy, they were like, nah, that ain't how. Nah, these niggas need to suffer forever. Fuck these niggas. You see what I'm saying? That's basically what they was like. So they actually, these Moors and all other groups that was along with them, actually set in motion events to, by the time we got to this day and age, they would we would catch hell, awakening and rising once again. So we created, our ancestors created these series of events, this timeline. So when it came time for us to rise again in this day and age, we would catch hell. You see what I'm saying? So that's what the Pharaoh in ancient Egypt actually represented, how fucked up our ancestors was. And the God that was hardening his heart was actually his own higher self. Because the higher selves, our ancestors was shutting us down at this point because of the darkness that was in here. You see what I'm saying? Inside our heart center. So we start our higher chakra started getting shut down. You see what I'm saying? Our power, we start losing our power from this point on. And this is represented within the last 12,000 years. You see what I'm saying? And you know, every 2,000 years there is a new zodiacal cycle. You see what I'm saying? So if it's in reverse, we coming out of Pisces now. In reverse, I think that should be Leo, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So from Leo on down to Pisces, we was fucked up. You see what I'm saying? So that's this last 12,000 year cycle been about. It's the cycle of the ego, which is pretty much what the Bible is all about, for real. Anytime you see God destroying Israel, that's us descending into the lunar cycle, and His wrath, or God's wrath, is us feeling the effects of their lunar cycles, the lunar cycle's energies. You see what I'm saying? Anytime God is healing Israel and bringing it back up, that's us ascending into the solar cycle. And how you said Israel receiving his God's blessing is us feeling the effects of the solar cycle. So that's what's happening. You know, it's a retraction of into the darkness of the lunar, or the ascension into the light of the solar. You see what I'm saying? So that's what they meant. So you're gonna see this Israel rise and fall all throughout the Old Testament. It happens all throughout. And during the creation of Israel, you see a lot of, they tell you that the Bible is not a book of magic, but Joshua was stopping time and freezing the sun and the moon in the sky. That's magic. They call it miracles in the Bible, but magic and miracles are the same thing. It's all one energy. Magic, if you look at the root word of magic, it's ma, or mother, or melanin. You see what I'm saying? So that's you harnessing the powers of your melanin and soul energy to do these seemingly miraculous events. And I find it funny, in the dictionary, in the back of the Bible, they actually tell you these things. So that's what this is about. That's what this book is about. Let's see what else here. You see Moses's, books, and that was all the creation. The creation of the different frequencies on this planet. Rising and fall of all the different civilizations and all the different cycles on this planet. So that's what Moses's 5 books were all about. Then you get into Joshua, which is I think from Joshua on down to the end of the Old Testament. That's a whole nother cycle of events, a whole nother set of stories. So this is what you're getting here. And like I told y'all, these words in the Bible, Jerusalem or Jerusalem is just Jerusalem. Jerusalem is an anagram for America and Lemuria. It also represents your pineal gland. So that's what that means. Anytime you see references to Egypt, they talking about your ancestors, your ancient ancestors back in the day. Anytime you see references to Babylon, they talking about America as it is now. You see what I'm saying? The United States Corporation. That's Babylon in the Bible. So anytime you see that, then you know what it is. You see what I'm saying? Let's see here. What else? Anytime they always gonna give you a set character, a character who goes against the grain, start fucking shit up. They always gonna give you a Heru character, a character who is the Christ figure for that time. Like David, Solomon, Jesus. They always Heru characters, champion deities that rose up to help the people. Then you have set characters. King Saul, who was the king previous to David, and there's other kings in the Bible who played their role. You see what I'm saying? That set energy, that session energy. The use of these beings a lot of times was used in the Bible to show you the different frequencies. Sometimes you're gonna have corrupt kings that play out their set energy, their session energy. You see that in history all the time. And other times you're gonna have noble kings who play out their hair root energy. You see what I'm saying? So that's what they showing you there. Let's see what else they do in the Bible that is very, very useful. That I know y'all need to know. Cause the names, the number 7, you gonna see 7, 12, 3 represents the Trinity. Usually the mother, father, the child, which is androgyny, your highest self, the highest version of you. Anytime, another thing that I need y'all to know is anytime you see in the Bible when it said the Spirit of the Lord descends upon you, or the Spirit of the Lord is coming into you, or the Spirit of the Lord is speaking, or stuff like that, anytime you see that reference, that's actually the characters in the Bible harnessing their force, their chi. Like, think the Jedi in Star Wars and the Sith in Star Wars, they're harnessing their force to do these miraculous things, like how Samson, he harnessed his force to motherfucking rip a lion in half and kill 1,000 people in a day. Elijah, he was shooting fireballs down from the heaven. So you see what I'm saying? So that's them harnessing their force. When they said the Spirit of the Lord came upon them, or that's descended down upon them, this is just them harnessing the chi, harnessing the life force that we all have access to. That's this mystical light, this mystical universal life energy. You see what I'm saying? So that's what that means. Let's see what else here you got going on. That's worth it. Also, they always speak of the law in the Bible. What is the law? I mean, what is this law we speak of? The divine law is ye are gods. That's in John chapter 10 verse 34. And since ye are gods, that's just you got their prophecy. That's the first law. Then the second law is ye are of gods, the creator. Ye are of God, the creator. Then the third law, which is ye are sons, S-U-N-S, or souls of God, because we are all extensions and individual personalities of the creator. What up, Marcus? You see what I'm saying? We are extensions, and we individual expressions of the creator. You see what I'm saying? Because we have souls. So that's what this is about. When we said these laws, the divine law, the book of the law, that's what they mean. And the law is for everybody. So everybody should know this. The fourth law is what is the function of a God? And the function of a God is to generate, operate, and destroy. That's what the function of the God is. So that's the 4 major laws of the divine law. And then you get into the 7 hermetic laws, like the law of mentalism, the law of polarity. Y'all check that out. There's plenty of information on that. But the 7 divine laws, I know this, you can't really get no information on like that. So I wanted to give that to y'all in this particular lecture, and I'll probably speak about it later on down the road. So yes, that's another big thing in the Bible that you gonna see. So yeah, definitely it's once you start getting into it and start seeing that it's all science, start seeing that it's all astrology, all metaphysics, it start making all the fucking sense in the world. Now, the only prophet in the Bible that I noticed that's completely different from all the other prophets in the Bible is Paul. I noticed that Paul is the only motherfucker that God don't really speak to. What's up to you, Mike? God don't really speak to like that. It's always internal dialogue with the Lord and all the other characters in the Bible. Paul the only one that, even though he says some good stuff, he says some good material, he has good spiritual wisdom, you don't ever hear him speak to God like that. like everybody else in the latter part of the book. He started popping up around midway through Acts. So his books, you don't really see that. What's up, Katrina? You don't really see that for real. You don't see him speaking to God like that, like everybody else, or his inner self. The Lord is just your inner self. You just talking to the Creator. You see what I'm saying? Through your soul. You see what I'm saying? Because your soul is what connects you to the Creator. So that's all. That's all that's going on. What's up, Jerome? So it's getting real here. You see what I'm saying? That's all this book is about. It's just science. It's just pure science. Let me see here. Anything else? Oh, Psalms. I can't forget about Psalms. Psalms ain't nothing but a book of magic. If y'all ever want to know, Psalms ain't nothing but a book of magic, book of wizardry, shit, Hogwarts shit. There. So that's all it is. There. So that's why your grandmamas had the power of songs sitting on the desk or the table when you walk by. They was reading it, tapping in with the book, learning how to use it to its fullest capability. See what I'm saying? That's why when your mama said Jesus or your grandmama said Jesus, it meant something completely different than when you hear the preacher or the pastor said Jesus, because you know that it is a magical utterance thanks to them studying songs and understanding how to use it to its fullest capabilities. Now, you also got Proverbs. Now, Proverbs is pretty much a book of life lessons, snippets of wisdom that you can use to help you navigate through this earthly life. That's what Proverbs is all about. It's only 4 books that really stand out like that, but they kind of stray away from the main theme, and that is Genesis, Psalms, Proverbs, and the book of Revelation. All those have like their own thing going on. You see what I'm saying? The rest of them you pretty much can, pretty much figure out. It's pretty much the same on storyline for the most part. Magic, spirituality, war, definitely. Shit, a lot of times they channeling their Aries energy, the god of war. Shit, most of the time, prophecy. Oh yeah, the book of Isaiah, all about prophecy. Daniel, prophecy. Ezekiel, Zechariah, all them motherfuckers was 5 prophets. Yeah, now when we get into the prophecy, they just prophecies are already written out. What these prophecies are about, why you prophecy is you see into the timeline to see possible events. It's called clairvoyance. It's a psychic ability that allows you to see different events and see into the future to see what unfolds. All these possibilities and probabilities, and you write down the strongest visions, or at this point in time, what's strongest now. So you write them down, and then your descendants live out those prophecies. That's what's happening here. What up, Darren? Your descendants live out those prophecies. That's what's going on here. So that's what the prophetic energy is all about. It's all about going in. You see what I'm saying? It's all about seeing the future, and that's why you got temples built. Like, say for example, for us, they talk about the book of Revelation. Now let's talk about how in Southeastern Asia and Cambodia, you got the temple of Angkor Wat, which got the whole book of Revelations, which is our storyline, on their walls. And they tell you Jesus is a white man, and actually no, that's not true. According to our ancestors, who already got us on the wall, it's the black man and black woman crucified on the cross. No lie. Shoot, I should have brought my book in here. I got a picture of that showing you how they crucify, how the black man and black woman being crucified. They got our whole storyline written in stone, and they built that between, interestingly enough, 300 and 600 AD. Around the same time the Bible was created. So you see what's happening here. These correlations, how our ancestors all connect. Because everybody across the planet, all our ancestors across the planet at the time receive that prophecy. So some, like the Moors, went against it, and others, like the Cimmerians, that's what they named. That's what their name was. The Cimmerians, they was for us. They was pro us. So they built a temple in our honor, and it's called the Temple of Angkor Wat. Check it out. And there's a cool little YouTube video called Sambo, the Black Gods of Asia, on YouTube if you want to check it out. So yes. So that's what we mean by the book of prophecy. So far you got in the Bible wizards like Elijah and Elisha and Samuel. You got prophets like Daniel, Isaiah, and Zechariah. Then you got warriors like Samson, Jehu, King David. You know, you got them. So you got these three aspects happening. Then you got your oracles and your psychics, and, you know, everybody going in, you know, it's all these beings are pretty much role playing, living out this storyline here on earth to make all this manifest. That's what prophecy do. We see it, then we come down and live it, and then we congratulate ourselves afterwards after we've done it at the end of the cycle, which is what's happening now. Now we're in a contemporary age during the last days of the world, the last cycle, the last part of this cycle, where we have access to everything. You see what I'm saying? All occult knowledge across the board, and it's still coming in day in and day out during this illustrious information age. This is what we was always known. This is what the Olmekians call Ha-Panuk, the age of the phoenix. You see what I'm saying? The resurrection, us rising from the ashes. You see what I'm saying? So everybody got this prophecy. Everybody. When I say everybody, I mean everybody. So, and everybody wrote it down their own way, whether it was in hieroglyphs, whether it was in scrolls, codexes, whatever. Now, the reason why we only got the Bible right now is because they took everything else from us and only left us with this particular one solar text. And interesting enough, every region seemed to have their own solar text. Like, say, for example, the Quran is a solar text, you know. The Torah is never written but the Old Testament. So it's still the same solar text as the Bible. So that's what you're getting into. Like, shoot, when you get into the New Testament, Jesus Christ, of course, we gotta talk about Jesus. He's the biggest figure in the Bible. So who is Jesus? Jesus is Heru, the champion energy, the champion deity. Well, the most prominent thing that happened in his storyline was his crucifixion, known as the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. What does that mean? What it means is the crucifixion of Jesus Christ is pretty much your mortal soul descending downhill onto this plane, into this physical body. You see what I'm saying? So it had to crucify its immortal self to incarnate into this physical form. And then it said what? Jesus did what? He died for our sins. So your soul, once it came down here, developed amnesia. And as we well know, forgiveness is a form of death. So our soul forgot itself, died so that we can have our experience in sin, this physical body. You see what I'm saying? And in this physical body, this avatar, we are in this physical body. We continue. We live this earthly experience. We continue to live this earthly experience until we go into the cave that they sent Jesus into, which is our subconscious mind, the darkness, where he stayed for 3 days, each representing the mother, feminine energy, the father, masculine energy, and the child, neutrality. You see what I'm saying? Then once he tapped into his androgynous self, after he balanced that out, he rose on the 3rd day. You see what I'm saying? So and he had what they said, all power in his hand, because he was his God self again. He was Buddha again. He was his Buddhahood. He achieved Buddhahood, deityhood, Godhood once more. So that's what the Jesus Christ story is all about. And how that relates to us is when our soul died for our sin in our physical body, we have to live this earthly experience and have life lessons until the time of our awakening. Then we become like Jesus, resurrect, and have all power in our hands as gods and goddesses again. That's what that storyline is talking about. That's why it's the most popular story. That's why the first half of the Jesus Christ story, when he got crucified, is sad to you because that's resonating with your soul memory, your birth into this physical plane, which is why the ancient Egyptians were sad when you was born, because they know your soul got crucified and it forgot itself. You see, it lost its memory. Then that's why. My bad, y'all got a call there. That's why he was happy once you died. You died and you became reborn again in this life. And even after you died permanently, you return back to the ancestral realm or the primordial realm, because they know you free now. You're a limitless being once again. So that's what it's all about. Now, that's the Jesus story. And of course, he had 12 disciples. You know, that's the 12 zodiac again. Yeah, he had that. They all played out their role in Acts, and they got crucified. And interesting enough, Peter, which is Ptah, which is him, he got crucified on the upside down cross, which is the X. Now, the X represents, interestingly enough, genetic activation into universal power. The cross represents the physical body. Now, they don't tell you this in the Bible, but you got the Ankh, which is the soul, which represents the soul body, which is life. You got the cross, which represents the physical body, which is death. You got Christ, which is represented by your soul or soul consciousness. Then you got Antichrist, which is this physical existence. This is the Antichrist, and you live the Antichrist every day. That's the soulless temporary energy of this physical realm that you're experiencing right now. That's the Antichrist. And all the beings who don't want you to ascend are part of that Antichristos energy. Who want to see you locked down like the Cabal elites, the Illuminati elites. They don't want to see you rise back up. Go within, find yourself again, and become the gods and goddesses that you truly are. And so that's why in a lot of what you like to say, a lot go on. You see in media, it's usually the black man and black woman at the forefront of all the fuckery that's going on the planet. See, they do that because they know we the elder gods and goddesses, like the elder gods in Mortal Kombat. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Gods and goddesses in Mortal Kombat, Raiden, Fujin, all of them. And they know that's us. And so they make sure they shut this shit down or keep us at the forefront of ignorance on the planet, because they know we gonna watch it because it's us doing things. You see what I'm saying? They know media is powerful. Like Jim Kelly used to tell you, media is a powerful thing. They know that we gonna if they keep feeding different dramatic energy towards us, that we gonna watch it because it's us doing it. He says, and naturally you're gonna be attracted to your people doing anything, no matter whether it's good or bad. So they know this. And they know that they use that to their advantage by have you doing things that's only appealing to your lower self, not your higher self. Although lately in these movies, I ain't gonna lie to you, they've been kind of going in trying to wake you up with your higher self. A lot of them, cause they sick of this shit too. A lot of beings, cause we the elder gods and goddesses, but we still got other gods and goddesses on the planet as well, and they sick of this shit too. They ready to go too. They ready to go to the new world. So they steadily trying to wake us up, and we steadily trying to wake us up. What's up, Paterica? And so we steadily trying to wake us up. So this is what this book is about. The Helios Biblios. You see what I'm saying? So it's just prophecy. It's just us doing different things. And so these first 65 books just telling you what it is. Magic. Life wisdoms. All that. And then you got Chronicles, telling you what's going on, just chronological order, but telling you what's happening from one storyline to the next. Then you got Zachariah. Zachariah is also dope. Y'all would love that. His prophecies as well and things he said. So yeah. Shoot. Of course, the next big thing, of course, the Jesus story. They broke it up into 4 different Bibles. 4 different books. Not bad. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Now, John is Osiris. Matthew is Ma'at. Luke is Lucifer. And Mark is actually magic, because Mark is goddamn a book of magic. That's all you read in Mark, for real. So that's what these names represent. So that's what it's about. What up, Jesus? So and they tell you, and if you don't believe me, they tell you in this Bible, in Colossians chapter 2, Paul said, I want to read this to you, chapter 8, to show you that you the elder God. So he said, from this chapter, Colossians chapter 2, verses 8 and 9. See that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, which depends on human tradition and the basic principles of this world rather than on Christ, which is Christ's soul. For in Christ and soul, all the fullness of the deity, God, lives in bodily form, and you have been given fullness in Christ, which is soul, who is the head over every power and authority. And guess what the title of this particular passage is? Freedom from human regulations through life with soul, or Christ. So they tell you right there what it is. Like they pretty much told you in 2 verses what this shit is all about. And that's one of the last books before you get to Revelations, the book of Revelation. Yeah, that's one of the last few books. Really, it ain't even a book, it's a letter. So cause Paul mainly dealt in letters. So that's one of the few things he gave y'all what I meant by spiritual wisdom right there. Then finally you got Hebrews here. Hebrews pretty dope book. Y'all like that as well. You got pretty talk about Melchizedek and his storyline and how everything went. So he pretty good. Now after that, you get into the book of Revelations after a few other letters. Now, the book of Revelations, I think I might go and just go over it for y'all, since I said the whole Bible. So they tell you right here in the prologue what this is about. The prologue, the revelation of Jesus Christ. Who is Jesus Christ? The Christ is soul and Jesus is Heru. So it's the soul of Heru, which God gave him to show his servants what must soon take place. He made it known by sending his angels to his servant John, Osiris, who testifies to everything he saw. That is the word of God and the testimony of Jesus Christ. Blessed is the one who reads the words of this prophecy, and blessed are those who hear it and take to heart what is written in it, because the time is near. So then they give you the greetings. Then they like right here. They begin to talk about the 7 churches. The 7 churches are named but your chakras. But they changed the name of these deities. They call them Ephesians, Smyrna, Pergamum, and all that. But actually their real names is what's up, Rashida? Their real names is Ogun, Oshun, Obatala, Eshu, Yemiya, Oya. The 7 what we call the 7 African deities, but they're actually 7 Orishan deities. You know what I'm saying? 7 African powers. My bad. So that's what this is about. And the most powerful thing they said in chapter 1 is what verse is it? Chapter 8. Chapter 1, verse 8. I am the Alpha and Omega, says the Lord God, who is and who was and who is to come, the Almighty. They telling you right there. It's all about, that's the Creator speaking to you. Usually the Creator, if you don't ever want to know the language of soul in the Creator, it's usually in the form of I am. Never forget that. It's always in the form of I am. So that's the most powerful thing in this prologue. They tell you about the 7 golden lampstands and the 7 stars. All that shit is chakras. The 7 golden lampstands is the chakras themselves. The 7 stars is the chakras when they are awoken, when they're activated. So that's all this means. The 7 churches is the 7 deities. They represent those 7 chakras. The throne in heaven, they fuck you up here. They fucking with your mind for real. It said the throne in heaven, chapter 4. After this, I looked, and there before me was a door standing open in heaven. And the voice I had, and now heaven is the primordial realm. It's the ancestral realm. And the voice I had first heard speaking to me like a trumpet said, come here, and I will show you what must take place after this. At once I was in the spirit, which means he was astral traveling. And there before me was a throne in heaven with someone sitting on it. And check this out. This is where it really get dope. And the one who sat there had the appearance of jasper and carnelian. Now jasper is black. They tell you it's red, but it's also black. And so they telling you that this is soul sitting on the throne, the creator, the soul energy. You see what I'm saying? So that's what this is about. They telling you what this is. And then a rainbow resembling an emerald. So the rainbow, but it's a green rainbow because it's emerald. So it's the heart chakra. Encircled the throne. You see what I'm saying? And so even the rainbow by itself is the 7 rays of light, the 7 frequencies of light that the chakras give off. And then they said surrounding the throne were 24 other thrones, and seated on them were the 24 elders. These you've heard about these. It's 12 male angels, 12 female angels, and they make up this council. And they govern what goes on all throughout creation. That's basically what they are. So they were dressed in white. You always gonna see that. White means enlightenment, if y'all want to know. And had crowns of gold on their head. Of course they had crowns of gold. Gold is soul. And they had it on their head, which is the halo that I tell y'all about, over your crown. So they was from the throne came flashes of lightning. That's raw power. Rumblings and peals of thunder. Before the throne, 7 lamps were blazing, 7 chakras. These are the 7 spirits of God. They just told you the seven overreaching deities. I just said. Also before the throne was what looked like a sea of glass, clear as crystal. The sea of glass is what I'm about to tell you was in the glass first. In the center around the throne were 4 living creatures, and they were covered with eyes. Now, the sea of glass is the mirror, because they see us, and we see them. That's what the sea of glass is. Matter of fact, they just came out with a movie called Glass. Hell, shit. They tell you the glass is the ancestors. They tell you in these movies. The beast is the raw power of your monstrous soul. David Doom is empathy, emotion, feeling, because he wore green. Then they call his name represented the overseer, which is the eye of Horus, which sits above your pineal gland, and it projects out this image at your third eye, so you can see this world. So it's literally a connection to the spiritual realm. So pretty dope. And it's also known as the all-seeing eye on your dollar bill. That's why it's detached from the pyramid. The pyramid is your pineal gland, believe it or not. So that's what that's about. Let's see here. So that's a sea of glass, clear as a crystal. So if it's clear, it's just like a mirror. Only thing I know that's clear as a mirror. You see what I'm saying? That you can see. That's clear as crystal. So they telling you they seeing us from the other side of this equation. From the other side of the equation, which is the ancestral realm or the primordial realm. So they going in on this. They going in. In the center around the throne were 4 living creatures. The 4 living creatures. Y'all gonna really be tripped out about this. And they were covered with eyes, of course, sight, in front and in back. The first creature was like a lion. The second was like an ox, and the third had a face like a man. The fourth was like a flying eagle. Each of the 4 living creatures had 6 wings, and was covered with eyes all around, even under his wings. Day and night, they never stop saying, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come." Who the fuck is these 4 creatures? They the 4 elements. The first living creature was like a lion. Lions are fierce, so that represents the element of fire. Then you had ox. Ox do what? Plow the earth. So that's the earth element. Then you had the one with a face like a man. A man is what? An emotional creature, which is the water element. Then you had you had a creature that was a flying eagle. Of course, that's air. That's the element of air. So that's the 4 elements there. And they all circled around the day and night, never stop saying, holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. That's the creator. That's the creator. Most time y'all will see this at the 5-pointed star with the with the 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water. And the 5th element is usually ether, but it usually have the sign of the Baphomet. The Baphomet just represents the creator. You see what I'm saying? And he always seen with Lady Sophia, which is the creatrix. So or Isis, as she's also known. So you don't see this a lot. Let's see. Then you have here the scroll, chapter 5, the scroll and the lamb. the scroll and the lamb. This scroll had 7 seals in it, which is the 7 chakras, but they in reverse. See what I'm saying? Because as above, so below. So now this knowledge is coming from the heavens down to the earth. And then the 7 chakras, the 7 seals represent what happens from our highest height at the crown 12,000 years ago, all descending all the way down to our lowest low, which is the root. Now we hit our lowest low now. So we rising back up again. So that's what the seals represent. Let's see. Then you have here the great multitude and the 144,000 seals. I broke that down in my nice Baphomet video. But if y'all just need me to go over it, I will. For the sake of understanding it holistically. It said here, 144,000, chapter 7. After this I saw 4 angels standing in 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth to prevent any wind from blowing on the land or on the sea or on any tree. Now, what does that even mean? The 4 winds. The 4 winds are the 4 elements. Once again, because they just changing from creatures to angels now. The 4 elements. What do the 4 elements do? Wind blows, water flows, earthquakes, and fire burns. So those were the 4 winds that they stopped. And the 4 winds stopping is time stopping. Because if they stop, then time stopped, right? So you're gonna see the world stop. This is you gonna experience this when you start to get back to your godhood. You see what I'm saying? And start tapping back into your magic. When you start tapping back into it and you cross over into the realm of the force, the realm of magic, the realm of the creator, time stops. That time stop is representing the transition of your physical self from this 3rd dimensional matrix over into that realm of the creator, the realm of the force or whatever. And I talked about that in my Kabbalah and Kalipah video, where you're dealing with it's a force ability called auto support, where when you meditate on the force, you literally after a while merge into it and you become seemingly invisible to other people. You see what I'm saying? To regular people. You see what I'm saying? So that's what that ability is about. That's what's happening here. Said here, then I saw another angel coming up from the east having the seal of the living God. Now, what is the seal of the living God? I've talked about this before. The seal of the living God is in your pineal gland, in your meditations, when you gain a certain level of wisdom and energy, there's a seal. How I experienced it was the seal of the Baphomet. The seal of the Baphomet materialized in my mind's eye and flowed everywhere, right? It created its crest or whatever. So how this manifests physically is, you see this little mark here? This here? This is the physical manifestation of that seal of Baphomet. Anybody who's on it, you'll see this here. Anybody who's already acquired that seal. That's what the seal of God looks like physically. So it's the seal of the Baphomet. It's also known as the seal of the Phoenix. That's another name it goes by. So he called out he called out in a loud voice to the 4 angels who had been given power to harm the land and the sea. It said, "Do not harm the land or the sea or the trees until we put a seal on the foreheads of the servants of our God," the pioneer of the first eye. That's what a seal would be. Then I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 from all the tribes of Israel. Now, what they mean by the tribes of Israel, and they gave you 12,000 for each tribe. All of us, when we born, come through this particular gate. Then we, of course, the 12 zodiac just represent the 12 different anatomical parts of our body, but we all come through a specific gate. Like I came through Scorpio, so I have more Scorpion energy that I acquired. You see what I'm saying, in this life. That's what they mean. When you come through the 12. When you come through the 12 tribes, you come through the 12 gates of the zodiac. So when people say I'm an Aries, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Gemini, I'm a Cancer, this is what they mean. They really just saying, you really just stating how you can, which gate you came through, which tribe you came through to get here. You see what I'm saying? Which tribe you was born into in this life. So that's what this means. And 144,000 itself just represent the order of star seeds in this life. Who took up who were chosen and took up the cross in this life, the Christ energy in his life to give y'all back this spiritual wisdom. There's many of them out there now. Here, everybody awakening like crazy right now. So a lot of people, a lot of these star seeds, this 144,000, this order of star seeds as I call it, are coming back online to give you this spiritual wisdom in their own way, because they still their own gods and goddesses with their own paths, doing their own things, so they have their own unique perspective. But they're telling the truth. How do you know they telling the truth? How do you know we telling the truth? It's going to be synchronicities in our teachings. You're going to be like, oh, okay, damn, he sound like her, or she sound like him, or they sound like each other. So those are synchronicities. Those are connections there. So everybody, even though they have their own way of explaining it, they making these connections. You see what I'm saying? And it's gonna resonate with everybody, because everybody else is also making these connections in their own way, and it creates the big picture, which is getting back in tune with the Creator and becoming your own God again. So this is what it's about. So let's see here. Then after that, you get to the great multitude in white robes. Once again, white represents you've done alchemical work. So that's enlightenment. If you wearing white robes, that means that's the sign of enlightenment. After this, I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne and in front of the Lamb. The Lamb is the Baphomet, which is the Creator. They were wearing white robes and were holding palm branches in their hands. Palms represent peace in the metaphysics. So they had a peaceful, serene mind. They was balanced. See what I'm saying? They already did the great work. And they cried out in a loud voice, "Salvation belongs to our God who sits on the throne and to the Lamb." Of course, like I just said, all the angels were standing around the throne. And what is the throne? The throne is your crown, if y'all ever want to know. All the angels were standing around the throne and around the elders and the four living creatures. They fell down on their faces before the throne and worshiped God, saying, Amen. Amen is a creator deity in ancient Egypt. Praise and glory and wisdom and thanks and honor and power and strength be to our God forever and ever, because Amen. And forever and ever is everlasting. This is everlasting, God, the creator of all things, is eternal. So then one of the elders asked me, "These in white robes, who are they? And where did they come from?" I answered, "Sir, you know." And he said, "These are they who have come out of the great tribulation. They have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb." Now, what do you mean by the great tribulation? You just incarnated down here and went through all this hell, or awoken and did the metaphysical work, the spiritual work, and in your meditations, you had your Kundalini awakening, and you came up out of this. You came up out of the Great Tribulation. That is the Great Tribulation. The Great Tribulation is you, through all this chaos, through all this hell, you managed to find a way back to God, back to the Creator. That's basically what the Great Tribulation is. The great work, the great trial. And it said They have washed their robes and made them white, of course, enlightened, made them enlightened in the blood of the Lamb. Where's the blood? You know, once you get back to the Creator, that force awaken inside you. You see what I'm saying? And when that force awaken inside you, you now have the blood of the Creator flowing through you, because the universal life force extends from the Creator. You see what I'm saying? So that's the force flowing through you in your blood, and it's flowing inside your body, nourishing your blood, and your blood is moving it all throughout you, all throughout yourself. You see what I'm saying? All throughout your physical self. So that's what that means. Therefore, they are before the throne of God and serve Him day and night in His temple. And He who sits on the throne will spread His tent. The tent is protection. Is a shield. Is a energetic shield that comes over you. It stands from your crown all the way down to your feet, and from your feet all the way up to your crown. And what happens here is you protected by the Creator. That's why I said this tent is over you. It's over you. You see what I'm saying? It becomes a electromagnetic shield that's all over you. You see what I'm saying? So that means you protected by the Creator. Now, they are before the throne of God and serve Him day and night in His temple. And I said that. Never again will they hunger. Never again will they thirst. The sun will not beat upon them, nor any scorching heat. What does that mean? What does that even mean? Never again will they hunger. Never again will they thirst. Now, any spiritual person tell you that they never hungry or thirsty, because they always have what they need. They always well fed. They always have their finances. They have everything they need to succeed in this life. You see what I'm saying? Another thing, the sun will not beat upon them. This is a good one here. Nor any scorching heat. You remember when you first awoken? When you first awoken, before you awoken, the sun used to burn your skin. Remember that? Because your melanin was toxic due to you dealing with the great tribulation, all the trials that you was going through, the crucifixion that you was going through at this time. Now, after you awoken, you went through like a little chaos period, and this was your melanin purifying yourself. And then once you balanced out, you noticed that when you went outside, the sun just vibrated on your skin. Now it didn't burn you no more. It didn't beat on you no more. It didn't hit you no more. It vibrates on you. You vibrate now on the same frequency as it, because you've awoken, and now your melanin is no longer toxic. And so that's what this is now. Your melanin is purified. This is the alchemical teaching of from mercury to gold. Now you got from lead to gold, which is transmuting your human consciousness to God consciousness. Then you got from mercury to gold. That's transmuting your toxic melanin into purified melanin or healed melanin. You see what I'm saying? That's what that teaching represents. So that's what that is. For the Lamb, creator at the center of the throne will be their shepherd. Shepherd just mean guide. He will lead them to springs of living water. He will lead them to springs of living water, and God will wipe away every tear from their eye. He will lead them to springs of living water. What that mean? That means immortality. You're gonna be free. Cause you notice in Exodus, God had them drinking bitter water. Cause remember, ancient Egypt was the ancestral energy. So when it came down to the physical plane, you was drinking bitter water now, cause you mortal. You see what I'm saying? Now you getting back into your immortality, where you drinking where they said living water. See what I'm saying? See these references that they're using, the springs of living water. So that's immortality. You vibrating higher and higher, because in higher levels of vibration, you live longer. And it seems like you live forever. That's what immortality is. You living forever. Shit, 100,000 years, 200,000 years. That's nothing to a being vibrating on a ninth dimensional frequency. You see what I'm saying? Or 10th dimensional frequency. That's 100,000 years to us up there. You see what I'm saying? Or you see what I'm saying? So that's what that is. So that's the 144,000. Then you got the seventh seal and the golden censer. Golden censer, that's easy. That's your soul. The angel is carrying soul. And once again, another angel who had a golden censer came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense to offer with prayers of all the saints on the golden altar before the throne. That's your soul. Your soul is the true altar, because your body is the altar, but your soul is what sits on it. Your body is the temple, but your soul is what sits on your altar inside your temple. Let me rephrase that. Let me clear that up a little bit. Yeah. So that's what that's about. That's what the seven seal and the golden censer, and it said here he was given much incense to offer with the prayers of all the saints on the golden altar before the throne. Who is all these saints they talking about? They talking about all the Starseeds, because this Starseed thing is not new. They just went by different names, like the Knight Templars, the Hoodoo Conjurers, the Vodun Priests, the Santerian Priests, all of them, and the Commission Jedi, the Nubian Magi, hell, the Japanese Samurai, so on and so forth. The Taoist monks, hell, shit, we can go on all day about all the different Jedi orders or mystical orders that kept that stayed in tune with the Creator across these 12,000 year cycle. So that's what this is about. Then the trumpets, of course, once again, the seven trumpets, like always. Those are also the seven chakras. The angel in the little scroll. Now they talk about John eats a scroll, and it was sweet in his mouth, but it was bitter in his stomach. That's the little scroll represents the truth itself. It's the essence of truth. What truth stems from. It was sweet in your mouth when you got your hands on it. It was sweet, but when you swallowed it, when you started learning about the truth, it was bitter, because you realized the truth went against everything that this physical world had to offer. You see what I'm saying? So that's what that's about. Then you got the two witnesses. The two witnesses represents your Ida and Pingala notices on the back of your spine. See what I'm saying? And then the beast rose up and made war with them. Of course it did, because the beast is your inner deity. You see what I'm saying? That rises up out of your subconscious mind. So that's what that's about. The seventh trumpet. That's the seventh chakra once again. You see what I'm saying? So this is all pretty much the same thing. The woman and the dragon. Of course, the woman is the goddess. The goddess Sophia. The goddess Isis, Hathor, whoever's the main feminine deity and in the mythos. And the dragon is Kundalini. Let's see here. The beast out of the sea, like I just said, is your inner deity. That came out of the abyss. The beast out of the earth. That's a good one there. The beast out of the earth represents the Baphomet. It also represents your soul that's inside of your physical body, doing wondrous signs for the beast in your subconscious mind. What are these wondrous signs? Well, if you know anything about the force or magic or anything, these beings are able to do seemingly, when they're in tune with the Creator, they're able to do seemingly miraculous things. That's what that represents. So let's see, the Lamb, which is the Creator, and 144,000. Once again, another reference to them. Then you had the three angels that gave you three warning. I'll read this. Then I saw another angel flying in midair, and he had the eternal gospel to proclaim to those. What is the eternal gospel? Let's get there. The eternal word of God. What's eternal? They tell you that in Psalms, chapter 119, verse 160. It says that God's righteous laws are eternal. So that's a reference to the law, which is ye are God's, and the other laws that I stated. So that's what that means. And let's see here. It says here, the eternal gospel to proclaim to those who live on the earth, to every nation, tribe, language, and people. He said in a loud voice, Fear, anytime you see the word fear God, just replace it with respect. Respect God and give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come. Worship him who made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and the springs of water. A second angel followed. So they telling you what it is right here. They telling you to honor the law, which is ye are gods, ye are of God, ye are sons, souls of God, and the function of God, of course. So that's what they talk. That's what the first angel. That's a reminder. The second angel falling said, "Falling is Babylon the Great," which is America, which this version of America anyway. Which made all the nations drink the maddening wine of her adulteries, which is that bullshit that our government and the elites been doing all over this planet. So that's the adulteries that they speak of. A third angel followed them and said in a loud voice, "If anyone worships the beast and his image and receives his mark on the forehead or on the hand, he too will drink of the wine of God's fury, which has been poured full strength into the cup of his wrath. He will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of his holy angels and of the Lamb." Now they reversed it here. The same beast that came out of the sea, which is your inner deity, they shut it down here. But what they mean here is, I'm just going to tell you what they mean though. If anyone worships the beast and his image is the false Jesus Christ and all the false images. The reason why the white Jesus is false is you always see him with a sheep, and the sheep represents the zombified energy, the locked down unconscious. When you was locked down and unconscious before you awaken. That's what they represent. And so receive his mark on the forehead. That's a calcified pineal gland or a shut down pineal gland. And or on his hand. The hand represents like you ain't in tune with your right hemisphere on a spiritual level. That's all it means. Because the hands are controlled by your brain. So that's still the same. That's both the same shit. You see what I'm saying? He too will drink of the wine of God's fury, which has been poured full strength into the cup of his wrath. He will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and of the Lamb, which is true. Like I told you earlier, when the sun beats on you, that's what they mean. You are being tortured by the sun itself because it's burning your skin. So in the presence of the tormented with burning sulfur, in the presence of the holy angels and of the Lamb, and the smoke of their torment rises forever and ever. There is no rest day or night for those who worship the beast and his image, or for anyone who receives the mark of his name. What is his name? Calcification. That's what his name is. Sleep, unconscious. Or what's going on here. When you ain't vibrating, like I always tell y'all, at least at a 528 hertz, then you're not vibrating on the frequency of Earth itself. And if you're not vibrating on the frequency of Earth in the universe, then you subject to termination here on this plane of existence at the end of this cycle. So that's what that's about. Let's see here. There is no rest day or night for those who worship the beast in his image, or for anyone who receives his mark by name. This calls for patient endurance on the part of the saints who obey God's commandments and remain faithful to Jesus. Jesus is Heru. That's your Heru energy inside of you. Then I heard a voice, and all saying I above the pineal gland. Then I heard a voice from heaven say, "Right, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, they will rest from their labor, for their deeds will follow them." That just basically means if you was able to manage to achieve your enlightenment here, when you die, you good. You straight. When you die and move on to the primordial realm, you ain't gonna get trapped down here in like these other false realities that's waiting to trap you. That's waiting to trap you back down here. You ain't gonna become no wandering spirit or soul, and then like that you gonna go straight back to the primordial realm. Yeah. So that's what that is. The harvest of the earth. Now this is an interesting chapter here, because they telling you right there what's about to happen to the earth. I gotta read this so y'all can understand what this is. The harvest of the earth. I looked, and there before me was a white cloud, and seated on the cloud was one like a son of man, with a crown of gold on his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. Which is that give you the image of death with the hood, with the skeleton. Then another angel came out of the temple and called in a loud voice to him who was sitting on the cloud, take your sickle and reap, because the time to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. They telling you what's about to happen at the end of the cycle. So he who was seated on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the earth was harvested. Now that's the death frequency. This shit get destroyed. This shit get terminated. The third dimensional earth about to get wiped away. And we're gonna be shifting to the fifth dimensional, and for some people the fourth dimensional earths. But this about to get wiped away. That's why he took a sickle. Sickle always represent death in any fucking mythology for some reason. I don't know why, but that's a definite connection. And the being who reaped it, you see this all the time in the cartoon. Death riding on the cloud with a sickle, killing motherfuckers. So that's what that energy represent. So let's see what else they said here. Another angel came out of the temple in heaven, and he too had a sharp sickle. Still another angel who had charge of the fire came from the altar and called in a loud voice to him who had the sharp sickle, take your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of grapes. Clusters of grapes from the earth's vine, because its grapes are ripe. They just talking about you. You the grape. The angel swung his sickle on the earth, gathered his grapes, and threw them into the great winepress of God's wrath. Once again, I told you, this time, this book here is God's wrath at the end of the cycle. What we mean by the end of the cycle here? Guess it's about time to explain it. Like I said earlier, when you see God's wrath or God being angry, you usually descending into a lunar cycle. And when you see God trying to heal Israel and give it his blessings again, that's you ascending into the solar cycle. So this once again, you see God's wrath. This time it's the end of the cycle of cycles for this particular 12,000 year period. It's usually 24,000 broken up into 12, which makes 12,000. So every 12,000 years you get that you go through all the zodiacs and everything completes itself. So and every 24,000 years you have a grandiose epoch. So not only is this the last 12,000 years, it's the last 24,000 years of that epoch. So this is really a huge cycle of completion in time for Earth's ascension onto the fifth dimensional frequency once more. Let's see here. They were trampled in the winepress outside the city, and blood flowed out of the press, rising as high as the horses' bridles for a distance of 1,600 stadia. Now they said that is about 180 miles, about 300 kilometers. But really, we all know that 1,600 stadia is really the whole planet. So the everything, everywhere on the planet, all the land across the planet. So then you got the seven angels with the seven plagues. That's the same shit. The seven plagues just represents all the different shit that's going on. And this is another reference to the glass. Here you go. I saw in heaven another great and marvelous sign. Seven angels with seven last plagues. There you go. Last, because with them God's wrath is completed. And I saw what looked like a sea of glass. Once again, you got that sea of glass. Remember that's a reflection. That glass is the reflection, the mirror that the ancestors see us through. And it's mixed with fire, and a sea of glass mixed with fire, and standing beside the sea, those who had been victorious over the beast in his image and over the number of his name, they held harps. That's music, but that harps usually represents a musical instrument. So they was vibrating. You see what I'm saying? Given to them by God, and sang the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, which is the Creator. Great and marvelous are your deeds, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are your ways, King of the ages. Who will not fear you, O Lord, and bring glory to to your and bring glory to your name. For you alone are holy. All nations will come and worship before you, for your righteous acts have been revealed. You see what I'm saying? So they tell you right there what these 7 plagues are about. These 7 plagues is pretty much all the shit you seen is now you get into the 7 plagues, the fall of Babylon, everything falling apart. Now you've seen this before, actually. And Avengers Infinity War, when Thanos did what? They finished the snap and everybody just started perishing. That's what the 7 plagues are. The 7 bowls of God's wrath, the woman on the beast. Once again, they shutting down the feminine energy. The woman on the beast, which is so called the great prostitute, is the same woman that the dragon was chasing in the earlier chapter. It's the divine feminine, but once again they're trying to shut it down. You see what I'm saying? So they you gonna see this a lot. They gonna rise it, and then they gonna have you turn against the divine feminine over and over again. So yeah. So you gonna see, but we gonna human them here, and we gonna say that the woman represents everybody that's in league with the cabal. You see what I'm saying? And the beast represents the cabal itself. So the mystery of Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. So we gonna go with their prophecy here and say that the woman on the beast represents what you would like to call the toxic energies on this planet. You see what I'm saying? And the beast is the cabal, that all the fucked up shit they did all over the years, the abominations, as they said. So we gonna go with that. Then you got the actual fall of Babylon. Then Hallelujah, which is a chapter praising the Lord for finally getting us out this. But finally, the cycle is finally ending. So now we out this shit. So we happy and joyful. Then you got the rider on the white horse. Everybody wants to know who the fuck is this rider on the white horse. So let's find out. It says here, I saw heaven standing up open, and there before me was a white horse, whose rider is called Faithful and True. With justice he judges and makes war. His eyes are like blazing fire, and on his head are many crowns. He has a name written on him that no one knows but he himself. He is dressed in a robe dipped in blood, and his name is the Word of God. What is the Word of God? Ye are gods. That's the Word of God, the Word of the Creator. The armies of heaven were following him, riding on white horses and dressed in fine linen, white and clean. You know, white is enlightenment, and horse is just your macabre. That's your macabre, your ability to travel all across the cosmos. That's what these horses represent. White and clean, out of his mouth comes a sharp sword, the sword of truth, which is Excalibur, once again, with which to strike down the nations. He will rule them with an iron scepter. Oh, the spine. There go the spine there. That's the scepter. Your magic. The Jed pillar that y'all heard so much about. He treads the winepress of the fury of the wrath of God Almighty. On his robe and on his thigh he has the name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Now, who is this white horse? I mean, who is this rider on the white horse? The rider on the white horse is you. Now, check this out. And I saw an angel standing in the sun who cried in a loud voice to all the birds flying in midair, come, gather together for the great supper of God, so that you may eat the flesh of kings, generals, and mighty men, of horses and their riders, and the flesh of all people, free and slaves, small and great. Then I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against the rider on the horse and his army. So it's a war taking place here. But the beast was captured, and with him the false prophet who had performed the miraculous signs on his behalf. With these signs he had deluded those who had received the mark of the beast and worshipped his image. The two of them were thrown alive into the fiery lake of burning sulfur. The rest of them were killed with the sword that came out of the mouth of the rider on the horse. And all the birds gorged themselves on their flesh. Now, what is this? The rider on the white horse is you in your purified, pristine state, right? And he fought the beast, which is the raw power of your monstrous soul, your inner deity that comes out of your subconscious mind. Now, the ride on the white horse is you after you've mastered this power. That's why he said King of Kings and Lord of Lords. You've mastered your power. I always said go watch the movie King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. You see this happen. He become King of Kings and Lord of Lords in that movie after he's mastered Excalibur, after he's mastered the powers of his inner deity, which is the Lady of the Lake. So who she will be represented as the beast in this case. They just made it nicer for you to understand. So the beast is the raw power of your monstrous soul that I've taught y'all all about. Your inner deity that rises up out of the abyss, the sea, your subconscious mind. So and he made war with this beast. Of course, after you conquer all the aspects of yourself, you become this rider on the white horse. And I find it interesting, they said, don't nobody know his name but himself. So don't nobody know your inner deity but you. Only you can know your inner deity because you are your inner deity. So, and then it says here, of course, he is dressed in a robe dipped in blood, and his name is the Word of God. So they already tell you, we just went over there, Jedi lineage, Jedi blood, Jedi force. You see what I'm saying? And the Word of God is that he is God. He is deity. He's proclaiming that. And now he's here to deal with what he's here to deal with, which is the mastery of himself. You see what I'm saying? So let's see here. And it says the beast was captured, and with him the false prophets. Of course, you know you got a lot of prophets on this planet who false. Now, what I mean by false prophet. False prophet is anybody who's not teaching that ye are gods and that this cycle is in and that you got to go within and get right. Those are the false prophets. And they are anyone who's profiting off you, because prophet ain't just spelled Prophet. It's also spelled Profit. So they're profiting off you, but not telling you the truth at the same time. It's one thing to make money when you're telling the truth. It's another thing to make money when you're lying with this spiritual shit. You see what I'm saying? So that's what a lot of these motherfuckers are doing in the conscious community. So that makes them false prophets. It said it'd be captured. It said they'd be captured. Who was performing miraculous signs on his behalf. They would be captured with these. Hold on here. With him, the false prophet who had performed the miraculous signs on his behalf. With these signs, he had deluded those who had received the mark of the beast and worshipped his image. Yeah. This generation. That's what he deluded them with. The two of them were thrown alive into the fiery lake of burn and suffer. They perished. That's basically what that means. Like they got infinity snap. Thanos. So they got God gave them mercy, as Thanos was saying. The rest of them were killed with the sword that came out of the mouth of the rider on the horse, and all the birds gorged themselves on their flesh. So these motherfuckers got wiped out, thrown in the lake of fire, which is just a representation of the lake of fire, just a representation of your ignorance. You got destroyed by your own ignorance. You see what I'm saying? Because you was around here fucking off. You awoken, but instead of awakening and doing what you were supposed to do with this, you decide to use it against your people and everybody on the planet. Because when you take this spiritual knowledge and attack people with it, they get lost. You see what I'm saying? They get fucked up. And you have to pay for that because you gave it to them. You gave them this information when they self-destruct with this information because you may not have told them the truth. You gave them half truths and false prophecies. You see what I'm saying? And then you made money off of it. So you got rich off their suffering, off their confusion. You see what I'm saying? So that's what this means. Then 1,000 years. The 1,000 years is half of this half of the next solar cycle. So then it says here these beings will wake up again and terrorize the earth for again, then they will finally be destroyed. Then here, which is a most interesting chapter, the dead are judged. Who is the dead that they speak of? We dead. Ain't this whole period, this whole the last day period called the resurrection of the dead? That's what. So we are judged according to what we do during this period. That's all this is. The dead are judged. Then you talk about the New Jerusalem, the New Earth, all that. So they get into the New Jerusalem, New Earth. Let's see here. I'll read that. The New Jerusalem. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. So they just told you that shit gonna get destroyed. And there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. Now, since it's coming down from heaven, it's coming down to your crown. So they telling you right there that the new earth and the New Jerusalem are already inside you. But it's up to you to go get it. It's up to you to go within and activate the fifth dimension inside you. And the more of us that do that, the mass consciousness of the planet, the more the earth is healing itself and materializing the fifth dimensions for all of us to enjoy. That's what's happening here. Let's see here. I saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. Because now, remember, in Exodus, God, your higher self, had hardened your heart. So he shut the ancestors and your higher self shut you down. Now God is coming back online. Your higher self is coming back online. The ancestors is coming back to help you, and they will dwell with you forever and ever. That's what they're saying here. Now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things had passed away. The Piscean age passed away. Now you're in the full swing of the Aquarian age. He who was seated on the throne said, I am making everything new. Then he said, write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. So now it's a new cycle now. He said to me, it is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To him who is thirsty, I will give to drink without cost from the springs of the water of life. Cause this cycle here was all about capitalism, money making. He who overcomes will inherit all this, and I will be his God, and he will be my son. But the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, as they said. But now what they mean by magic arts? Now you got beings who practice magic arts to heal the planet, and you got beings who practice magic arts to fuck us up. So he talking about those beings. Because magic is just an energy. It's what you do with it that matters. That's why they made sure they didn't say magic itself, they said magic arts. And art is only an art when it's being expressed. So somebody got to be using it. So if they're using your magic art, the magic art to fuck us up or degenerate the planet, then that's what they mean here. The idolaters and all liars, their place will be in a fiery lake of burning sulfur. This is the second death. The infinity snap. That's all this represents. One of the seven angels who had the seven bowls full of the seven last plagues came and said to me, come, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb. Now the bride is the pituitary gland. And he carried me away in the spirit to a mountain great and high, and showed me the holy city, Jerusalem, the pioneer, coming down out of heaven from God, the Creator. It shone with the glory of God, and its brilliance was like that of a very precious jewel, like a jasper. Remember, I told you jasper was black, but it was clear as a crystal. So that's the black dot, because inside of everybody's soul, it's a black sun. Inside the gold sun, there's a black sun that connects you to the source melanin, which is the original jazzy intelligence that empowered everything, empowered all this. And that's usually represented by the creatrix, or who y'all know as the goddess Isis or Sophia. So that's who they represent. And showed me the holy city of Jerusalem coming down to God.
And its brilliance was like that of a very precious jewel, like a jasper clear as crystal. It had a great high wall with 12 gates, 12 zodiacs, and with 12 angels at the gates. On the gates, the 12 angels on the gates, all zodiacs have symbols, signs, energy, and the frequencies of that particular sign. On the gates were written the names of the 12 tribes of Israel, like I just said. There were 3 gates on the east, 3 on the north, 3 on the south, and 3 on the west. If you ever looked at the astrological signs, all of them represent a direction. The walls of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Of course, Scorpio. The name of the 12 gates was Scorpio, Capricorn, Sagittarius. You see what I'm saying? And the 12 apostles of the Lamb, the Creator. The angel who talked with me had a measuring rod of gold to measure the city, its gates and its walls. The city was laid out like a square, as long as it was wide. He measured the city with the rod and found it to be 12,000 stadia in length, and as wide as and high as it is long. Now, what are these measurements about? Because, first of all, if the Creator is eternal, what we need with measurements? Well, once again, they just told you it's measured in 12,000 stadia. The 12 zodiacs represent your 12 anatomical glands. So they talk about the creation of your new physical body that you're going to get on this dimension. And as wide and as high as it is long. He measured his wall, and it was 144 cubits thick by man's measurements. They telling you right there, which the angel was using. So it was measured by man. They telling you that it is a man that they're measuring. They telling you what's happening to your new body, the creation of your new self on this for this new cycle. Let's see here. The wall was made of jasper, once again, that black sun, and the city of pure gold as pure as glass. So jasper, which is the black sun, I just said gold is the gold sun. The black sun is at the core of everybody's soul. So, and it's as pure as glass. Glass is the ancestors, the mirror, the reflection they're looking at you from. So they just getting it to you now. They just telling you what the game is. The foundation of the city walls were decorated with every kind of precious stone. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth carnelian, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, the 11th jacinth, and the 12th amethyst. As we all know, each zodiac is represented by a particular gem or jewel. So that's what they mean. The 12 gates were 12 pearls, each gate made of a single pearl. The great street of the city was of pure gold, like transparent glass. That sounds like enlightenment. And once again, that's God consciousness. That's your consciousness right there. That this chapter here, the New Jerusalem, is all pure science. And then it says here, I did not see a temple in the city, because the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are its temple. So the Creator. So now you living from your soul body again, like you was before this 12,000 year cycle started. You living from your soul body now. Once again, the city does not need the sun or the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and the Lamb is its lamp. So there you go. So there you go. They telling you that the sun and moon out there, you don't even need that, because you're gonna be living within yourself. You're gonna be good, going back to how it used to be, of you operating strictly from your soul body and your physical body, just or what we call it physical here, but it's gonna be on a higher vibration, so it's gonna look different. It's gonna be different and operate different. But it's going to be mostly from your soul body, because you're going to be on a higher vibration, a higher density. You see what I'm saying? So let's see here. Let's go ahead and knock this on out. These the last chapters. Let's see here. The nations will walk by his light, and the kings. Let's see where I was here. The city does not need the sun or the moon. Okay, that's where I was. Glory of God gives his light, and the Lamb is his lamp. The nations will walk by his light, and the kings of the earth will bring their splendor into it. On no day will its gates ever be shut, For there will be no night there. Cause you full of consciousness now, so you know what's going on. The glory and honor of the nations will be brought into it. Nothing impure will ever enter it. Nothing impure can enter your soul. Your soul is pure. Nor will anyone who does what is shameful or deceitful, but only those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life. Now, the book of life, the tree of life, however you like to say it, it's the same shit. The Creator's book of life. So when we talking about the Creator's book of life, we talking about the Kaliphoth, because the Kaliphoth is the original eternal realm that created the tree of life, or this physical world that we're living in. So you're gonna be living in the primordial realms that the Creator bestowed upon you, because now you're living on the higher vibration. What we call physical here is pretty much metaphysical and on this new vibrational energy. You see what I'm saying? It's almost kalipathic now, because you're living from your inner deity, your inner soul self again, soul body again, instead of just this living from the physical body and the ego like we are now. Like that's what we're dealing with now. That's the war of the heavens right now. Our inner soul warring with the ego, the false god, the demiurge, as it's also called, the archons. They say archons is ruling the planet, right? The planet is egotistical, and when the mass consciousness, is all operating on the same frequency, it creates these deities, these beings, and so part of the program is shutting down that frequency, getting back to your soul. That's why everybody is scared of this awakening. All the elites of Cabal is scared of this awakening by the elder gods and goddesses and all the other gods and goddesses on the planet. So because now they know they're returning back to the soul body, which they hinted to you in the movie Glass. They told you, now we trying to suppress that shit, because when y'all rise, we fall. So that was the Cabal speaking. So there you go. Now, then you finally got the last chapter, which is the river of life, which I find interesting they even call it that. Then the angel showed me the river of the water of life, as clear as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb. Down the middle of the great street of the city, on each side of the river stood the tree of life. So you talking about your spine here. That's all this is. You're talking about the spine. That's its consciousness. You know, the 3 levels above Kelter, ain't soft, all that shit is the same shit. Just descending down to the tree of life. Let's see. The great street of the city, on each side of the river stood the tree of life, bearing 12 crosses of fruit, yielding this fruit every month, the 12 spheres of consciousness. That's all. Because they tell you it's 10 on the tree of life, but it's actually 2 secret 12 next to Malkuth. 2 secret spheres of consciousness next to Malkuth, which happens to be us, by the way, the black man and the black woman. The true feminine and the true masculine, the true elder god and the true elder goddess, who is locked down at this time. That's what those 2 spheres represent, because they're on the frequency of Malkuth. Now then, let's see. And the leaves of the tree are on each side of the river stood the tree of life, bearing 12. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. No longer will there be any curse. The throne of God and the Lamb will be in the city, and his servants will serve him. They will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads. Of course, your pioneer will be fully awakened. Your third eye will be fully awakened. First eye, if you like to see it. There will be no more night. They will not need the light of a lamp or the light of the sun, for the Lord God will give them light, and they will reign forever and ever. So they telling you right there, God can give you your consciousness from within. You see what I'm saying? If it's not happening, if you ain't seeing the sun or the moon outside of you, then that means the light has to be coming from within you. See what I'm saying? The consciousness, the information has to be coming from within you now. The angel said to me, these words are trustworthy and true. The Lord, the God of the spirit of the prophets, sent his angels to show his servants the things that must soon take place. Then the last few chapters here, and we'll be done here. Jesus is coming. Behold, I am coming soon. Blessed is he who keeps the word of the prophecy in this book. I, John, am the one who heard and saw these things. And when I had heard and seen them, I fell down to worship at the feet of the angel who had been showing them to me. But he said to me, do not do it. I am a fellow servant with you and with their brothers, the prophets, and of all who keep the words of this book. Worship God. Now, I always know that's a thing that happens a lot in the book. People bow down and try to worship the angels, but they on the same. They telling you right here, get up. Me and you on the same level. On the motherfucker, you surrender to is the creator. No, and the creatress. Nobody else. None of that other shit. Any other surrender is you false claiming to anything else, because you're giving up your sovereign will as a god and goddesses. You're giving up your sovereignty. Your sovereignty is your own nation, your own universe inside of you, your own universal reality. You see what I'm saying? Universal dimension. So anytime you kneel to another motherfucker, then you kneeling to you're pretty much letting them know the sovereign God, sovereign goddess is the same, is near to you, another sovereign God and goddesses, but we on the same frequency though. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Then he told me, do not seal the words of the prophecy of this book, because the time is near. Let him who does wrong continue to do wrong. Let him who is vile continue to be vile. Let him who does right continue to do right. And let him who is holy continue to be holy. See what I'm saying? So, shit, they just tell you keep doing what you do till this cycle over with. Everybody gonna do what they gonna do, no matter what. So, don't try to go out, and try to stop these motherfuckers from being fucked up. Let them be fucked up. Shit, unless they awaken, or they showing signs of awakening, then yeah, you can help them then, but other than that, nah. Behold, I am coming soon. My reward is with me, and I will give to everyone according to what he has done. I am the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. So for whatever works you've done on this planet, you automatically gonna get rewarded for it. Because each trial and tribulation you conquer is its own reward. So that's what the Creator telling you. Blessed are those who wash their robes, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may go through the gates into the city. Outside are the dogs, those who practice magic arts, the sexually immoral, the murderers, the idolaters, and everyone who loves and practices falsehood. So, like I said, I know magic is a touchy word. That's why I keep talking about that. They tell you right there, those who practice magic arts, their works against us. You see what I'm saying? It works against our ascension, our growth, our transformation, our evolution. They want to degenerate us, de-evolve us, so they can continue to rule over us. That's the difference. Now, let's finish it up. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to give you this testimony for the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright morning star. So they telling you right there. He is of the bloodline lineage of David, which is his ancestral hero figure. And he's also the morning star. So he's Lucifer too. So he's Satan, he all that shit. When Satan rises back up from your root on back up to your crown, then he becomes one with the Creator too. He becomes Set Hair Root. You see what I'm saying? Or Satan Jesus. And that's represented by the all-seeing eye that sits above your pineal gland, which is now you about your father's business when you operating from this frequency. You see what I'm saying? And you always have your mother's best interest at heart. Your father is the pineal and your mother is the pituitary. So there you go. And let's finish up here. The Spirit and the bride said, come, and let him who hears say, come. Whoever is thirsty, let him come, and whoever wishes, let him take the free gift of the water of life. So it's free. So you can't turn down shit that's free. Hell, all niggas know that. So go out there and get your knowledge. It's free. Hell, go do the work and be done. It costs you nothing to meditate. It costs you nothing to research. You see what I'm saying? Nothing. Hell, all of us pretty much got Wi-Fi, could go somewhere to get Wi-Fi. So don't let this opportunity pass you. And finally, the last three verses here. I want everyone who hears the words of this prophecy of this book. If anyone asks anything to them, God will add to him the place described in this book. And if anyone takes words away from this book of prophecy, God will take away from him his share in the tree of life and in the holy city, which are described in this book. He who testifies to these things says, yes, I am coming soon. Amen. Come, Lord Jesus. Heru, or Lord Heru. The grace of the Lord Jesus Heru be with God's people. Amen. See what I'm saying? And that's it. So they telling you right there. You get this spiritual knowledge, you read this content, you can't just make this shit up. Most of this is metaphysical. But it relates to the physical in that sense as well, because it's relative. Whatever happens to you spiritually manifests out here in the physical. So that's how that works. That's why it relates to you both spiritually and physically. So yeah, there you go. That's the Bible Decode of Helios Biblios, the Book of the Sun, this particular solar text. And there y'all go. Prophets revealed, scrolls revealed, prophecies revealed. So I hope that helps. Y'all understand this book, this Bible that we've been given. Hell, they gave it to us. Might as well fucking understand the shit so we can use it as a weapon against our enemies. It's here because they show use it as a weapon against us. So yeah. With that being said, do y'all have any questions? Well, if y'all don't have no questions, then I'm gonna get up out of here. Share this with your friends. Put the word out there. Let them know what this is. Bible Decode, Helios Biblios, Book of the Sun. My name Marvin Jones, and I'm out. Peace.